Welcome to the Straight from the Heart show. I'm Yutam Marmaras. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Today I've got an amazing guest. As you know, my guests are always amazing. His name is Rich Waterman. For those of you who don't know Rich, Rich is a strategic business advisor and an amazing speaker. That's why I brought this man on the show, because I heard him speak. And he's also a Tony Robbins trainer. I don't really like to bring Tony's name into it, but he is, because he's his own man. Rich Waterman has really, how can I say, impressed me with what he does. Rich, without any further ado, welcome to the Straight from the Heart show.
Oh, thank you, my friend. I really appreciate being on the show tonight. And yeah, Straight from the Heart couldn't be more appropriate for yourself for sure. And it was great to meet you when I spoke, and a real privilege to be on the show with you today, this morning when everyone's listening, I guess.
Exactly. So you don't know where they'll be listening and where they are in the world. Thank you so much, Rich. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself from your perspective, please?
Yeah, no worries at all. I'll give you the potted version. So I was one of those kids that did very well at school. I found school quite easy. So I was lucky. I knew how to play the game and could play it quite well. So I did quite well for myself academically. But I kind of got into thinking that it was my head that was my strong point. That's what served me well in my younger years, and did very well. Went to Oxford University. The end of that, didn't know what I wanted to do with life, so I thought I'd become an investment banker for my sins. I thought something competitive and well paid, and I'd give that a run. And I did very well at that as well, but I didn't really enjoy it because, again, there was a lot of people in the headspace making lots of money. I have still got some good friends from that time, but equally there were a lot of people in that environment I didn't really enjoy being around. And at 31, it all came to a head. Went through quite an unpleasant divorce. Realised I didn't really want to do that job anymore. Had 4 young children at the time. Wanted to spend more time with them, so took some time out to spend time with them. Started creating my own businesses. That was from 2001 onwards, and then in 2006, after sort of a number of life changes, which we're sure we can talk about later on as well. Went and did some Tony Robbins stuff just to find out more about trying to understand my brain a bit better. And that was kind of my aha moment. As I said, I do still do some stuff with Tony, but I'm kind of doing my own thing now. And been building businesses the last few years, buying into businesses, and then really focusing on building the mindset side. So I've been speaking for many, many years, but I see professionally since about 2011, speaking about mindset and then helping small business owners basically how to implement change in their business. So a lot of people can become very successful in business working very, very long hours, but then there's a price to pay for that, whether it be on the health side, their mindset side, their relationships, etc. So what I do is help people to grow profitable businesses, but also to reclaim back quality time. And I guess it's my own journey, really. It's something that I kind of learned the lesson the hard way, that it doesn't work having lots of money and no time and sacrificing things. So I'm very passionate about helping people with that. And it's always a combination of strategy and mindset. You need both, because our brain's naturally resistant to change. And certainly being in the Robbins environment has really, for me, been a massive shift from head to heart. So looking at, I realize no matter what problems we think we have, we're always in a more fortunate position than others. And how can our presence really help others? We don't necessarily always have to dip into our pocket to help others, but our mere presence, our thoughts, our consideration of others, and certainly as a big event for me a couple of years ago, raising money for a friend of mine, really, really nailed that home for me. But yeah, it's been an interesting journey from that head to heart thing. So I'm definitely on the right show.
Wow. I love it. You see why I got this man as a show? And on top of that, he's down to earth, guys. He's really down to earth. He's one of those first guys who actually taught me that people, I will tell you a little story about myself. I used to feel inadequate. I wouldn't even be able to speak to somebody who's been to Oxford, let alone graduate from Oxford. I had this friend of mine who was from Oxford, and he tried to reach out to me so many times, and I always pull out the excuses. No, I'm busy. I can't make it, such and such, because I felt so inferior before. But now, changing my mindset, changing my environment, and changing the people around me, I'm so comfortable talking to you, because I see you on equal term, but before I didn't see it as that. And you being the success, well, when I say successful, you are successful. We're going to dive right down into your story. I'm going to draw out some right stuff out of you for the wannabes. This is what it's for the wannabes.
Brilliant.
So, and I learned that when you reach out to people like yourself, like Jarek Robbins, Javon Langford, you open your arms. You truly open your arms. And before, when my limiting mindset, as I call it again, I used to hold people like you on a pedestal, which my mindset was telling me that you're not reachable because you're on that pedestal.
Yeah.
So thank you for changing that in me. People like you and Javon really has changed my world. And you were a man who became wealthy on monetary terms at a very young age. I want you to talk about what kind of relationship you had with money, and that you were a millionaire at a young age. And a lot of people are just chasing the money. I used to be one of those people as well. I had the money, but it wasn't about the money. So I want to hear it from you as well, please. That's
a great question. Relationship with money was a very interesting one. So for me, when I was a lot younger, coming out of uni, obviously a lot of bright people in my peer group, and a lot of them have created great wealth, but equally, a lot of them haven't. I really don't think that intellectual prowess or achievement, it can help, but I don't think actually it has a lot of impact in terms of wealth. And obviously I was fortunate that I learned the rules of the game about how to get a great job, basically. I really sucked, actually, the first few interviews I did for investment bank. I totally sucked because I thought, well, I'm a smart guy. I'm good with numbers and maths. I'll go in there and impress them and so on and so forth, and they'll give me a job. And, of course, they all start asking me questions about banking, and I haven't got a clue. So I very quickly went away, did my homework. There's a great lesson for people is, you fail the first few times, go away, do your homework, and then the next 8 interviews, I got 8 job offers. So, you fail, you learn, you come back again. And I have that mindset. If I do something, I do it properly. So in banking, even though I didn't really enjoy it, I did it to a very, very high level. And I got rewarded for that. And what's interesting is when you have a lot of money, you spend it as well. Most people do anyway. You can kind of be, particularly I was always spending my base salary. As it went up, I'd always spend that base salary. I had eventually had 4 young children, so I was producing children as well, which certainly is a good way to spend money. And to be fair to my ex-wife, she wasn't particularly lavish with her spending. But yeah, a lot of people, this is what I see when I go to events, particularly a lot of wealth creation events. I used to speak at places like World Internet Summit where people are looking to make money quickly. And it's very easy when I've created wealth to say it's probably not what you actually want. But obviously, if someone's not had that wealth, then it's, they want it. They see the boats and the cars and the houses and the clothes and all that sort of stuff. And they, well, I want that, and I get that. I guess my message would be, look, ultimately, money is a representation of value. Money was introduced because of to replace a bartering system, which isn't very efficient. And money represents the value that you bring to the world, or that you are perceived to bring to the world, but it isn't your value. And those two things are massively different. And when I was a banker, I tied up the money with my bank with my own personal value, what I was worth. But I wasn't happy because I had a load of money in my bank, but didn't have a great relationship with my wife, which probably got divorced, wasn't seeing my kids very often, very stressed at work. Health was suffering, so on and so forth. So then you got a situation with money in the bank and not a lot else. And honestly, it's horrible. But do you know what? It's better to have money in the bank than not in that situation. At least then you can try and buy yourself some solutions. But anyone listening is the key is to bring value to the world and trust that over the long period of time that will generate the money that you need and want. But the money won't buy you the happiness, I guess, is the message I'm giving here. And I actually made the opposite true after that divorce. It's a good way to halve your money, to get divorced as well.
Oh, yeah.
My one-step system to reducing your wealth is get divorced.
Easy. Nice. I've been there, Pete. I've been there. I mean, Rich, when I call you Pete, when I talk about you, I always say Pete Waterman.
Exactly, yeah. On a sideline producing records as well. But what was funny, Tam, is that after that I made money the problem. So I made myself a promise that I would not chase money, that I would focus on looking after my kids and having a happy, fulfilled life. And I remember saying very clearly out loud, 2001, I just want to earn enough money to pay the bills and have a holiday each year. That was it. And at the time, because I didn't have a mortgage and stuff like that, that was very, very little money. And I kind of potted along a bit for a few years. And then I remember very, very clearly standing up at a Life Master event in Tony Robbins, start of 2007 in Fiji, which is a lovely place, by the way, if anyone ever wants to go there. Smashing place and even more amazing people. And I said to people, I made this promise about only earning enough money to pay the bills and go on holiday. And I'm doing it in a day and a half a week. And everyone's going, oh, that's great, big round of applause. Oh, you got 5.5 days off, and isn't that amazing in a week? And I went, no, but I feel dreadful. It absolutely sucks, because what I was doing was I'd actually effectively put a cap on my potential. And so I was earning this money very quickly in a day and a half. The other 5.5 days, quite honestly, I was just messing around. So I was completely unfulfilled. So then I flipped it around and go, right, okay, let's just work 5 days a week, like most people do, and just see where it goes. And that's when the wealth then really started building back up again. And I think the key is to have a healthy relationship with money, and just say it's just a scorecard. It's just a representation of the value you bring to the world. And it will fluctuate as well. But if you consistently focus on that, bringing value to the world and finding out what the world needs and seeing what you can do where you can bring that value to the world in a way that suits you and delivers the outcome for your clients, then over a long period of time, you will create the wealth that you want. But you may have periods of time where that money's less. You may have periods of time where that money's more. It's why lottery winners, often their bank accounts go back down very quickly, because they haven't got the mindset to go with the wealth creation. So that's kind of my relationship with money. For me, it's very simple. It's one of the guys that I speak for on a regular basis, I call Marcus Di Maria, who's a wealth expert on trading and investing. He always says that money is a combination of perceived value, creativity, and the passion and talent you bring to the world. And I think that's quite a nice formula, actually.
Wow, that's a really good formula. I like that. And my mentor was my mentor was Bob Proctor. He said the same thing.
Bob's brilliant.
When he trains in the insurance business in sales, and when you get the agent saying, I'm going to make $1.5 million this year in sales, and he does it in 5 months, and the rest of the year he's not even hitting one sales, because he's already hit that peak, like you just said. And you're living proof of that. And guys, listen to this valuable information that Rich has given us, because he's been on both end of the spectrum. So stop chasing the money. I used to chase the money. I was so unhappy, so unhappy. Moved to the nice affluent areas, sat here. I'm still here. I'm still in Cuffley, Hertfordshire, and I'm sitting here. The second day, and I said to my wife, is this it? Is this what I've worked towards? And I didn't feel no contentment. I didn't feel happy. And that's when I changed. I changed everything, and I made everything about serving and having great people around me, like I've been mentioning. And Jovan is another guy. Yeah,
he's brilliant, Jovan Langford. Yes, amazing guy.
He said to me, don't focus on those kind of things. Just serve and just keep serving.
Smack
and
on.
Go back to divorce. How much of a lesson did that teach you? Because I lost everything in my divorce, man. I lost my house. I lost my job eventually. Lost everything, to the point where she was trying to get me banged up as well. I had to move from London into Hertfordshire, which was a blessing anyway.
Yeah. You and me both. I ended up in court once. I was completely exonerated of it, but it's not a very nice experience for sure. It's like, in fact, actually, I remember after that, the judge said, my exemplary behaviour and that any issues that can cause my ex-wife, which is a small victory. But, we get on fine now. I guess what that lesson taught me was a few things, one of which was I felt like I was doing my role for the family, that I had to do it, that I was obliged to be the provider. And a lot of men, do you know what, it actually does fit in with our male energy, that we want to go out and you know what, provide and serve for our loved ones. I think that's a very positive thing, but not to the point where you start to compromise yourself, your values, and everything else. So I was basically effectively depleting myself because I was in a job that paid incredibly well, and I thought, well, I've got to stick with this because otherwise I'm letting my whole family down. So you end up getting caught in a spiral, and then, of course, your ex-wife is going, well, you know, I don't really get much attention from you in the weekends and stuff because all I'm trying to do is recover. So there's going to be people listening to this who are maybe have got a business or a job and they feel like they've got to carry on with it because that's the only way, but they're probably paying a very, very high price. And I guess what I'm here to say is, do you know what, you've always got a choice, and you've got to really sit back and think, what's the most important thing for you? And at the time, it was my wife and my 4 kids. And, you know, after we got divorced, it was very easy for me to make that decision to go, right, okay, what I've got left is my relationship with my 4 kids. So they now take number one priority, and everything else fits in around that. And that was my biggest learning is prioritizing what's important. And money should never, ever be your number one priority. I appreciate you've always got to have enough money to pay the bills and whatnot. Otherwise, it gets very stressful. It's got to be your relationship with your family and your loved ones, whether you've got children or a partner or parents or brothers or sisters or close friends. That's your true richness and wealth. If you actually think, when you're lying on your deathbed at the end of life, are you going to think about, oh, do you know what, I've got this amount of money in my bank account, or I did well? What you're going to be thinking about is all the amazing memories and relationships that you had. So why don't you focus on that now? So that's the one thing I'm incredibly blessed with, is I got a wake-up call age 31 to say, look, you're a multimillionaire and you're miserable with sin, and now you're going to pay the price, which is getting divorced from someone that you thought you were going to be with for life. But at the end of the day, Tam, you know, what happened is, I would not be doing all the stuff I'm doing if that hadn't happened. So I'm incredibly blessed that, you know what, my speaking journey, my coaching journey, helping businesses, helping people at Robbins events or my own speeches and events and what have you, none of that probably would have happened. So it's an incredible gift as well. And I often find that, you know, some of your best gifts come from the most painful experiences.
Definitely.
And it certainly taught me a lot about my own self-worth. Like I am the only one in charge of my own self-worth. No one else has. And I'm with another partner now, but you know, if you've been through a divorce like I have, you know how much someone else can attack you and erode your self-worth if you allow them. And I went down that road, and you can't win that game, because if you're always taking in other people's opinions, what have you, you can't win. When people say nice things about you, take it in. But if, you know, it doesn't matter how close someone is to you, if they attack you, you've always got a choice to consider whether that might be the truth or not, or whether it's their truth.
Exactly.
Yeah. So a lot of lessons learned on that one.
I love that wake up call. To be honest with you, the way I've analysed that wake up call, I'm a law of attraction man. I love my law of attraction. So it was the universe that gave me a kick up the butt, because I was getting. Do you know what? I was never grateful. I was traveling the world. There's one of the pictures that I always say that's in KL, Kuala Lumpur. I was traveling every 2 months, every month sometimes, and working for the NHS. A lot of people was like, oh, how are you doing it? But I never went out drinking every weekend. I went out raving because I did that in my younger days. But when I was getting the signs, but I was never grateful for what I had. And it all crashed. It completely crashed. And the way I put it, I had to relearn. I really had to relearn. That's
a great expression. I love that. Yeah. Sometimes you have to, you know, you look at small children and how much joy they have for life, and also how, you know, often how grateful they are for the presence of adults, just someone's time with an adult, let alone presence or anything like that. And yeah, we forget a lot of that stuff as we get older. So yeah, I love that expression of relearning. I think that's very true.
We need to, and the best thing is to be around children. My children I've got 2 lovely children now. They've really changed my life. I can come back from an event at 11 o'clock, or if they're still up, and I'm shattered, but they'll just bring up that energy straight away. I'm a human being. Sometimes I wake up and my physiology is not right. I feel a bit down, but as soon as I see my children and I become a kid again, that changes the whole state and rises it to the next level.
Yeah.
That's why I put a lot of my success to now. And also I'm really grateful for my ex-wife as well. I used to hate her with a passion before. I hated her. You destroyed my life. You did this, you did that, you done that. But now it's the complete opposite. I'm telling my current wife, I actually love my ex-wife.
Yes.
Because if this didn't happen, I wouldn't become the great father that I am, the man that I've become, the coach, changing life, talking to people, talking to you. My life was on autopilot. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
I had it set. Oh, I'm working for the NHS. You get your bone. I was on call getting that £500 for the weekend. Thinking, wow, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
I was focused on the money, but the happiness weren't there. There was love. So it's very important, I say, to function from a place of love. So when you first went on your personal development journey, how did it wake you up? What was it like when you're being told all these things?
So I think the biggest thing for me was so it's February 2006. Did an Unleash the Power Within with Tony Robbins, and I went there. 2005, I'd actually had a year of being really quite badly depressed. I'll tell you, it's quite a funny story that led to that was. So my ex-wife went off with her friend's husband, which was it sort of happened a lot. I lived in Hertfordshire at the time, funnily enough, in near Welling. And it seemed like that was happening. It was like, bored wives and husbands going off with each other's partners. And I actually ended up in a time delay wife swap. I ended up with the other partner because we were consoling each other. So that was quite funny. But that lasted a few years. And actually when that ended, I was sort of like I'd stacked everything up and went into depression. 35 years old and just very, very lost. And I went along to this Tony Robbins event. I thought, something's got to change. I'd seen one like Oprah Winfrey or something. One of the advantages of being depressed is you watch daytime TV. And I saw Tony Robbins on an Oprah Winfrey show, I think it was. And the first thing it did is absolutely what you said. It got me to a place of service. I realized I'd become obsessed with myself. And I do, some people who are listening to this might be depressed or feeling very down. And I know what that feels like. And so I'm not going to say this lightly, but depression or feeling like that means you have to be self-obsessed to get to that place. And I mean that in the kindest way to anyone that might be listening to this, is you have to focus on yourself. Because as soon as I went to the Robbins environment and I started realizing that I just wanted to use my brain, a combination of my brain and my heart to serve people, then the whole game changed for me. And that was the biggest shift, I think, Utam, was to look at someone like Tony, who's clearly a very, very smart guy, but he had a big heart as well, and he was helping people. And I said, right, okay, so now I realised not only am I going to use these tools and things for myself to improve my own situation, and you know what, I didn't really need to improve myself financially, but all the other stuff wasn't really working very well. But my biggest drive coming out of that was I need to go and help people. And I actually just started running events straight after that. I just started teaching them little chunks of what I'd learned at UPW and then putting my own spin on it. And then I started training myself in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and then I started carrying on in the Robbins environment. And that has always been the drive for me, is I've always looked for where do I see pain and difficulty and challenges out in the world, and how can I use this, and then more importantly combine it with the heart space. It's the brain and the heart, and it has to ultimately come from the heart. I think the head is a good guide sometimes, but the power and the drive has to come from the heart, and then the head can tweak it a little bit if needed to help people. And I mean that in a way, an empowering way. I'm not saying that I'm up here and you're down there and I can help you up. I mean, do you know what, you're probably going through some stuff, and I might have been through it before. I've seen patterns with people going through it before, and I might be able to make some suggestions as to how you can help yourself through it. So I think that is important, that people take ownership. And the one thing I saw a lot, particularly a few years later, like 2011, 2012, going to self-development seminars, wealth creation events, all these sort of things, and I still see it now, people very, very desperate for change and buying stuff emotionally from speakers who quite honestly are manipulating audiences in a lot of the cases, not always, but often. I've seen it very recently at an event I spoke at. I got very annoyed about it. People buying things emotionally, and actually, do you know what? They're not being taught very well, and also they're not in the right space mentally to implement change. Because naturally, as human beings, we're quite resistant to change. So that became my obsession. That's where my mindset all went, was how can I get people to get what they say they want? Because, you know, even if you look at traditional goal setting techniques and visualization, all this sort of stuff, 95% of people will try that stuff and it still won't work. And so that's what I became obsessed with, is how do I help people to implement the change they want? So that's a very long answer to your question, but yeah, that was the biggest shift. Was, right, do you know what? I can use my brain, because I can use it to analyze stuff and to look at patterns and to spot stuff that doesn't look right. But I learned to trust my heart first. So it's always heart first. Does it, heart and gut, does it feel right? Can I feel this person? Can I sense this person? And that's why, you know, I just drawn to you at Warren's event when I spoke there. It was like, you know what, I can feel people. You do personal development long enough, I can feel people's energy. I can feel who the good ones are. I just get drawn to them. And I can feel the people that need help. I can feel people that are in pain. I can feel people that are doing well. I can feel people that, and it is an energetic. It's an energetic level, I guess. There we go. I'll rant on. I'll go on forever if you let me.
I'll let you. I'll keep you on here for another half an hour. I'm cool with that. I love getting all these stories, because you know what, Pete, we've walked those dark nights. We've walked in those shadows, and that's the way I am. If I can help somebody, that I use a basic example. When I never had a car and I was living in Cheshunt, having to walk all the way to Waltham Abbey, that was like cutting in the park. It hurt me. It hurt me. And when it was snowing, my area manager saying, "Oh, you've got to open your shop, blah, blah, blah." Used to work for William Hill. It hurt me. So I will go out on my way to help somebody. If I see somebody walking that I know, I'll get them in my car, I'll drop my colleagues, and so on. And that's the kind of guy you are. And that's how, like you said, energies plays a massive part. Napoleon Hill says, when your energies are working, especially at our age, you get your sixth sense. You start developing sixth sense. That's what you've developed, and that's what I've put it down to, because I'm so sensitive. I'm really sensitive to things. That's why you don't see me at many events. You don't see me every week. I don't want to be the shelf help, like you say. But that's why I remembered you, and it's always about the experience. I've seen many speakers speak, and it was the experience that you gave me that day, especially the little experiment with the bottles and the cup.
Yeah, the focus thing. Yeah, it's one of the things, is like, you know, one of the things, obviously playing on my name, I got this thing, Get Rich, and it's important that people are aware that wealth is broad. You know what? And actually, the real way, if you want to build financial wealth, actually the place to start is with your emotional wealth. But then once you really get connected with yourself and you can really own your true power, because, you know, I believe everyone out there has greatness inside them. Everyone does. And the more that you align the results you want with that greatness, so you're making things easy for yourself. You know what? Some people out there are going to be natural speakers, some natural coaches, some natural network marketers, some people better behind the scenes, some people in front of house. Play to your strengths. Don't think, oh, this is a get rich quick scheme. It's playing on my name. And so it's the easy way to make money. Do you know what? There aren't that many easy ways to make money. Just focus on yourself. That way, the beliefs that you have, you can then start to build beliefs around what you're doing that are very congruent with who you are as a person. And Tony Robbins talks about this. That will then create incredible potential for yourself. And then this is then the key, which is why I talked about it at that speech, is the more you can align that, and the more you can tell yourself great stories about yourself and all the achievements you've done and the people that you've helped, it will inspire you to take action. And the key then is to focus. And I think that is a chronic problem with people at the moment. Is what's great is you've got the internet, you've got social media, you've got all these communications, mobile phones and internet and Skype and all this sort of stuff. It's a tremendous possibility and opportunity for people, but it's actually too much. So we have to choose. You can't do a bit of everything. And so that speech was about, you know, if you spread yourself too thin, you end up thinking, oh, well, I've got a lot of my bases covered here. I'm doing everything, so hopefully one of them will come off. But in essence, you're spreading yourself so thin that nothing's ever really going to happen. I've been following some stuff recently. One of my friends has been doing a lot of stuff with a guy called Darren Hardy, and Darren's very big on focus, and he talks about three things. Three seems to be the magic number. If you're only focusing on doing one thing, then you can get stuck, or you're waiting for something to happen, or you know, it's going to take a few days for something to come through, so you can lose momentum. 3 seems to be quite a good number, because then you can have a bit of variety going on there. You can change focus as and when you want to create a bit more interest. It seems that more than 3 is a challenge for most people to do that properly. They get distracted. And Darren Hardy's got a great thing where he says, right, you focus on 3 things, you record under each of those things what you've done in that day or that week, and then the 4th thing is the stuff that you've done that doesn't relate to those 3 goals. And he calls that the devil's vortex. And I think that's brilliant.
It's absolutely
It is all that wasted water that I showed in my talk. That's the devil's vortex. And it's not easy. Do you know what? Someone like myself, I'm sure you're that way as well. Creative people, we get excited by shiny pennies and distractions. We want to go off and do this, that, and the other. And it's very exciting. And it is important to keep that excitement in your life if you're a creative person. But the biggest challenge is you're going to be doing too many things at once and not doing any of them well enough. So that little bit of focus, and that can be trained, because I was one of the worst shiny penny chasers I know. You can train yourself as long as you allow yourself to play in between. I think that's the key. One of the key is, what that will do is it will create a lot of fulfillment for you, because you're getting things achieved and getting things done, and you'll grow as a person because you're properly engaged in the process. And absolutely financial wealth will come from that as well, because you know what, you get one website 100% completed is much better than 101% completed.
There you go. Wow. So listen to what Rich is saying. Jack of all trades is no good. My father-in-law, I don't even know my father-in-law. He passed away before I even got with my current missus, but she always says it. My dad always said, Jack of all trade, master of none. And she always says, because as you said, we're creative people, and I'm always getting ideas like, babe, I'm going to just focus on your 3 things. She's my greatest coach, and she's not even a coach, but she's the greatest coach, because everything that I've learned, she was my guinea pig for 7 years. 7 years I spent teaching of Bob Proctor. She was my guinea pig, but now she's turned it around on me.
Yeah.
Every time she sees it, she was like, but isn't that what you preach? But I love it, though. I love it because
it's brilliant.
It makes me a better person. Each day I'm becoming the better version of, I know I will never be the complete product, but every day I'm getting better and better and better, and I can give more. And it's all about giving. I just give. And that's the most satisfaction, to be honest. I learned that from 2 people. Number 1 is Tony Robbins, when he speaks about the story about when he was broke and he had $100 in his pocket.
Yeah.
The kid that was having dinner with his mum on a date. So that's one. And the second one is Caleb Maddox's dad.
Right.
Yeah, I'm quite close terms with those guys. And that's what it says. Just give. Just give.
Yeah, and it's you know what, to give and expect nothing in return. When it's money, I think that's quite easy to give and expect nothing in return, because you just say, here's some money, just help yourself out. To actually give of yourself, or to give of your skills and expect nothing in return, that's actually quite hard. That can be hard, because sometimes, you know what, if I'm having a conversation with a prospective client or something like that, I know that I serve best when I'm in that space where I am genuinely interested and invested in their outcome and aligning with them and helping them to make the best decision for them. And that could be me actually persuading them not to work with me. But equally, I know that, do you know what, if you have 4 or 5 in a row where you end that and the outcome is actually they're not working with you, it's very then easy to get in the space of, it'd be really nice if the next one did work with me. And then so you're then getting into a bartering and exchange thing, and that it doesn't, as you know, service doesn't work like that. So that takes training. That does take some work to go, I am genuinely serving you unselfishly. And you know what? You may earn less money than some in the short term playing that game, but I guarantee in the long run you will earn more and you will serve more, and all your clients, and also the ones that didn't work with you will be better off for it.
That's so valuable, that little bit you just gave us. Same thing happened to me when I first started out as well. I was saying to them, I'm not getting any clients. I'll take anybody on. I'll even take somebody that needs therapy. Guess what? I did get that person. it became a bit of stalking as well. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'll even travel to you. I'll do my one-to-one coaching. You know what it's like when you first started. And it turned out to be, it was really draining for me, really, really draining. In the end, this is something that I learned from a lot of the greats. I gave her all the money back. I gave her money back and I said, I'm so sorry. And I gave her my views. I said, please don't take it the wrong way, but this is the only way forward for you.
Yeah.
Because I can't help. I'm sorry, I cannot help. It's not my level of expertise.
Yeah.
There are people that you're going to need to see. And that's very important. And the last thing I'm going to touch on about giving, as well as we're running out of time, I would love to have you on for a lot longer. I want you to speak about when your mate rang you, Rich, about his daughter.
Yeah.
I want a lot of people to know about this.
Okay.
That's really stuck in my heart. And every time I serve, that always stays with me. And thank you so much for that.
Yeah. So I'll give you the short version is, so it was July the 23rd, 2014. I got a Facebook message from a good mate of mine, George Coutinho, who was a senior leader in the Robbins environment, now become a trainer as well, like me. So I'm very, that was one of my happiest days of my life when he became a trainer. And he asked me if I was there or not on Facebook. And, you know, sometimes when your mates contact you and you kind of don't want to be there, because it was late at night. I was meant to be going to Euro Disney like 4 o'clock the next morning or whatever it was. I thought, I really should be in bed. Like, do I just pretend I'm not here? And thankfully, I really, I'm not a very religious person, but I do thank whoever's up there for making me say, yes, I'm here, mate. What can I do? And his daughter had been spending about a year in Portuguese hospitals getting treatment for liver cancer, kidney cancer. And at that age, she was about 4 years old at the time. That age, kidney cancer, the certain sort she had is very treatable, but they did catch it quite late. So I knew she'd been getting treatment, but I hadn't heard anything, so I thought it was all good. And the hospital had said, they'd been to hospital that day, and they said, no, we caught it too late, and she's going to die. All we can do is make her comfortable. And my mate George had found out about this revolutionary clinic in Germany, a place called Duderstadt, where they could give really revolutionary treatment that could potentially cure cancers, which traditional medicine thought were incurable. But he'd done all his money spending time with his daughter and focusing on that. So he needed 30,000 euros there and then, basically, yesterday, as I would say. And he asked me to raise it. And I remember at the time thinking, holy crap, basically. It's like, I've basically got this person's life in my hands and I'm going on holiday tomorrow. And actually, part of me didn't want that responsibility, but I'm very grateful for that gift of having that. I've never, ever before or since been committed at that level to something. It's not I'll have a go at raising this money, is it? It's one of your best mate's daughter, and you're not going to sort of like give it a bit of a try. And I think that's a great lesson in life. I was all in. This money was raised. It wasn't a question of it might get raised. I was all in. So all I did was I just shared the hell out of it on Facebook, Twitter, and all these things. Set up a GoFundMe account and just shared the why, shared the purpose. Why is it? Why do I think it's important to help this little girl who was going through a huge amount of pain? And all this little girl sent out was messages of love and thank you to everyone that was raising money. I'm so happy. I really appreciate everyone helping me and blowing kisses to camera and all this sort of stuff. And we raised that 30,000 euros in 5 days. We got her out there to the clinic. We'd actually raised 40,000 euros a couple of days later. So we kind of turned the tap off thing. I said to George, we've got too much money now. But we didn't know how long the treatment would be. But it was really interesting to see the impact this little girl had on everyone. It wasn't about giving money anymore. She was reminding us how to live life, how to be positive, how to give out love, how to be grateful. Just like this little angel, this little pink angel, little pink princess, we called her. And it really deeply moved us about what does contribution actually mean. It was contribution to her, it was contribution to George and his family, but it was the contribution with each other as well. It was this collective connection amongst everyone that had raised the money and who was helping to raise the money. And some people didn't have money, So they were reposting and sharing and spending their time doing it. So everyone contributed in their own way. And then unfortunately, about a month later, she passed away. Start of September that year, she passed away. So yeah, I was devastated. I thought, well, we've failed. Then I realised that wasn't true, because her message carried on. You know, if we'd given up at that point, that message of love and gratitude and living life to full would have stopped. So George has gone out, and now he helps. He spreads her message around the world, the lessons that his daughter Leonore taught him, and he talks around the world about it. He helps families who have lost kids to give it a better meaning. I've gone back into the Robbins environment and shared her story, and we've just raised we always used to do foundation talks to raise money for charity, but I always kind of felt we were selling contribution a little bit. At least that's how it felt to me. Whereas now what I do is I share Leonore's story, and the first event I did it, our team raised 3 times more money than the other team, which is quite funny. And the head trainer asked me what I did, and I said it wasn't how I did, it was how I was. It was being, not doing. And then in the event in December, I had a Japanese team, and we raised $180,000, and the whole event raised $1.3 million, which is a record. Tony Robbins mentioned it from stage. And it occurred to me that Christmas, it wasn't about making a difference, it was about being a difference. So anyone that's listening to this call now, every single day of your life, you can focus about being the difference. You don't, because when you make a difference, you feel like you need something, or you need resources to do that. To be the difference, all you need is yourself, and to be present with one other person or group of people, whatever you choose. And so I created a movement called Be The Difference Today. There's a website on that, and people can find out about it. It's just a very simple concept, which is, how was I the difference? So celebrating the difference you made in the past. How am I the difference? How can I focus right now in this moment, being the difference? And how will I be the difference moving forward? You can do that for we as well. How were we the difference? How are we the difference? How will we be the difference? And my favorite one is you. It's actually recognizing other people. So, you know, how were you the difference? So, Utam, you were the difference for me, because you contacted me on Facebook to get me on this podcast, and that you are being the difference for me now by asking me great questions and engaging me in my content again. And you will be the difference because of your unbelievable focus on service and helping others. So if you choose someone in your life to tell them how they were the difference for you, or I think even more powerfully, if you see something in someone else and you say, look, you're amazing, you have this amazing gift, you could be the difference, if I can help you to bring that gift to the world, that is powerful, because we always see stuff in others before we see it in ourselves. So that's why I created that movement around that, and that's really my focus now, is on really helping other people to discover, develop and deliver their greatness, to be the difference, for corporations to do that, for businesses to do that, for individuals to do that. And that's all because of that little girl. And I get emotional every time I talk about it. It's like two and a half years ago now. Just we're all blessed. We're absolutely so blessed to have had that little girl on this planet. And as George says, sometimes people give such a powerful message in the short time that they're here. They don't need to hang around anymore. And I know her daddy missed her dreadfully, but my goodness, she lives on. And every time I give a speech, because she was a pink princess, I always see pink. I saw a pink feather before a speech the other day. A lady was wearing a pink cardigan right in front of me in the speech in Manchester. There's always pink. And I don't know whether it's a filter on Skype or what have you, but that picture behind you now is looking very, very pink.
Wow. It's actually my laptop that's reflecting a bit of purple. So
isn't that funny?
Right, yeah.
So I'm seeing a pink glow in the background there. So yeah, I really appreciate you asking that question, because that's the drive in my life right now, and I really believe that that's where true richness lies. Is that proper contribution where you're staying full because you appreciate the gifts within yourself, but you're there for someone else or group of people to help them bring out the best in themselves as well. That's what my life's about. I know that's what your life's about as well. So, yeah.
Do you know what? Forget the rest of the interview, mate. Forget the rest. I'm never gonna release the rest. I'm just gonna release the last bit because I knew this is what people had to hear. Pete again, Rich. He's thinking about me. Even though at home when I talk about you to my missus, I'm like, Pete, she's like, who's Pete? I was like, Rich. But you know what? I'm straight from the heart. I speak as it is. And you know what? Thank you so much, mate. I love you. I love everything you do. How do people get in touch with you if they wanted to talk to you or anything?
Yeah, so the best way is definitely through my website. So it's richwaterman.com. I like to keep things simple. So richwaterman.com. And if they want to email me, it's richwaterman@richwaterman.com. I am on Facebook as well, but I just get so many friend requests and I don't know who's who and what, and spam accounts and what have you. They're better off emailing me first and saying, can you connect with me on Facebook? This is my name. Then I can look out for it. But yeah, the website's the best place initially. It's got some more stuff about that video on that Leonore story as well. And yeah, there's various things that I do, but you know, people can find out about that through the website. So that's great.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Rich. Thank you again. I can't express my gratitude for having you on my show, and thank you for blessing the show as well. You've been phenomenal. Any last messages for my viewers?
Yeah, I think that my biggest message is you all have greatness within you, and so tell yourself great stories every day about your greatness. You know, we have this thing about, don't big yourself up too much or don't be too boastful. But do you know what? You're in control of the stories that you tell yourself. So on a regular basis, and I would insist daily, tell yourself great stories about yourself, because the more that you do that, the more you'll be able to help others from that place as well and be able to help them to tell their stories as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you again. I'm straight from the heart, Utah Marmaraz, signing out. And as always, I'll tell you guys, live well with one another, because if we don't, what's the point? Thank you so much. Bye for now.